Hello, and welcome to Work of Art. Tonight, we travel not just to a city, but to a paradox, a civilization built in a place where no great city should ever have risen. We journey to a world of sun-blasted canyons, where human ingenuity turned absolute scarcity into unimaginable wealth. Imagine a kingdom defined by a single mesmerizing color: red. Visualize the towering, silent walls of sandstone, sculpted by millennia of wind and sun into shapes that appear simultaneously geological and architectural. This is the remote land of the southern Levant, a wilderness that was, for centuries, the strategic heart of global commerce. This is Petra, the legendary city carved from stone. But before we start our journey, please take a moment to like the video and subscribe. It's a great way to support the channel and would be really appreciated. I'm also curious to know where you are in the world and at what time you're joining me tonight. It'd be lovely to hear from you in the comments. Now, let's settle in and let's begin. Our story begins far from marble halls with a resilient, fiercely independent Arab tribe, the Nabateans. They were originally nomads, masters of survival, intimately familiar with the brutal but beautiful landscape of the Arabian desert. Their early existence was a constant, profound study of their environment, a lesson learned in every shimmering mirage and every shadow cast by the setting sun. They knew the desert's hidden rules better than any other people. Their first and most vital genius was simple: water. They didn't rely on rivers, they relied on knowledge. They developed an unparalleled expertise in finding, preserving, and channeling every drop of rain that fell on the arid terrain. Where others only saw rock and heat, the Nabateans saw a potential reservoir. They turned the threat of flash floods into a managed resource, carving cisterns and channels to trap and guide water. Their ability to secure water gave them the ultimate security in the desert. The true transformation of the Nabateans, however, began when they realized their expertise could be monetized. The key to unlocking their wealth was a precious, highly valued commodity: frankincense and myrrh. These aromatic resins, grown in the remote south of the Arabian Peninsula, were essential for religious rituals, royal courts, and funerals across the ancient Mediterranean world. They were a luxury item, often valued at or above the weight of gold. The Nabateans began to specialize in the final, most dangerous leg of the incense route, the overland journey from the south to the ports of the Levant. They became the indispensable middlemen, charging tolls and providing essential protection and supply for the caravans crossing their territory. They controlled the flow, and by controlling the flow, they controlled the profits. The chosen location for their headquarters was not accidental. It had to be secret, defensible, and perfectly suited for water collection. They chose a deep, magnificent canyon system, Rakhmu to them, Petra, the stone, to the Greeks. Now let us enter the city as the caravans would have done. We leave the harsh, blinding sun behind and pass into the Sikh. This is not a man-made road, but a colossal natural fissure, a quarter-mile long, winding path where the walls of coloured sandstone climb hundreds of feet high. The sunlight is filtered, turning the rock face into shifting patterns of gold, ochre, and crimson. Feel the profound sense of security here. This long, narrow canyon was the city's defense, a natural fortress that required only a tiny force to hold off any invading army. Any enemy foolish enough to enter would be trapped in the twisting passages. But look closer at the walls as you walk. They are not merely natural rock. Running meticulously alongside the path, carved into the stone or laid in terracotta pipes, are the channels of the ancient water system. This water system was the crowning glory of Nabatean engineering. It was their solution to the problem of living in a 1.5-inch annual rainfall zone. They lined reservoirs with plaster to prevent seepage, capturing every drop that flowed down from the mountains. This system was sophisticated enough to manage the unpredictable flash floods, channeling the sudden deluge not into destruction, but into cisterns and storage units throughout the city. The result was astonishing. A city of gardens, fountains, and flowing water. An oasis supporting a population that may have reached 20,000. After the claustrophobic darkness of the Seek, the canyon walls suddenly open, and you're faced with a vision of impossible beauty. Al-Khazna. The immense facade is not built, but carved directly out of the smooth, reddish cliff face. It towers over you, a breathtaking blend of the local Nabatean aesthetic with the ornate, fashionable Hellenistic and Roman styles of the period. This was the architectural signature of their wealth, the product of generations of profit from the incense root. Feel the sheer audacity of the architecture. The Nabateans were not merely building, they were expressing their deep cultural power and their cosmopolitan knowledge through stone. Yet, despite its later name, this magnificent structure was likely not a vault for gold, but a royal tomb for a powerful Nabatean king. The people of Petra sought to honor their leaders by carving their final resting places into the unyielding face of eternity. Petra's wealth allowed it to grow from a simple camp into a bustling, sophisticated center. As we move toward the colonnaded street, the atmosphere changes. The vast silence is replaced by noise, the low, rhythmic groaning of camels being unloaded, the clatter of Roman carts, and the chaotic sounds of the market. The air is thick with the dry, potent smells of precious pepper, cinnamon, and the smoky frankincense that paid for it all. The city was a melting pot. Here you would find traders from Rome and Greece standing next to carriers from India and Arabia. Nabateans were fluent in Arabic, Greek, and Aramaic, demonstrating a mastery of global commerce that few rivals could match. Their culture reflected this wealth. They produced distinctive eggshell-thin pottery, and their homes were filled with luxury goods from across the known world. They even incorporated a Roman-style theater carved into the rock, showing their embrace of the wider Mediterranean world while maintaining their distinctive identity. The high point of Nabatean independence came under King Aretas IV, 9 BC to AD 40. He was the epitome of the successful Nabatean ruler, a skilled military leader, a diplomatic master, and a shrewd financial mind. Aretas IV maintained a delicate balance of power, ensuring the incense route remained secure while navigating the aggressive expansion of the Roman Empire, which increasingly sought to control the region. The Romans respected the stability and efficiency of the Nabatean trade, but they loathed having to pay the high prices. The tension between the small, wealthy kingdom and the massive, resource-hungry empire was unsustainable. Rome launched several unsuccessful military campaigns against Petra, only to be defeated by the desert and the Nabatean forces. But the end of independence came not through a devastating military defeat, but through annexation. In AD 106, under Emperor Trajan, the Nabatean kingdom was incorporated into the Roman Empire, becoming the province of Arabia Petraea. The primary reason was strategic. Rome simply wanted direct, reliable control of the trade profits and the routes. The days of Nabatean kings charging tolls were over. Trade continued, but the massive revenue streams were diverted to Rome. Petra was now a major Roman city, but its independent spirit, built on centuries of freedom, was forever curtailed. The long decline of Petra was a slow, agonizing process, starting centuries after the Roman takeover. The causes were more devastating than any single battle. The primary factor was the fundamental shift in global commerce. As maritime technology improved and security in the Red Sea increased, sailors began using sea lanes to bypass the expensive, arduous, and time-consuming overland journey through the desert. The global economy simply found a cheaper route. As sea trade flourished, the great caravans became obsolete. Religious and natural forces compounded the economic collapse. With the spread of Christianity, the pagan rituals that drove the demand for incense resins slowly faded in favor of new religious practices. Churches were built in Petra, often converting or reusing the old temple structures, marking the final change in the city's spiritual identity. Nature delivered the final crippling blow. Petra, situated in a seismically active zone, was rocked by a series of major earthquakes in the 4th and 6th centuries AD. These tremors damaged key buildings and, most critically, devastated the complex, fragile hydraulic system. The city could no longer reliably sustain its population without its water miracle. The inhabitants slowly departed. The great rock-cut monuments remained, but the city itself became a ghost, its secrets left to the wind and the sand. For over a millennium, Petra faded from Western memory. It became a rumor, a lost city of stone, preserved in local legend and fiercely protected by the tribes who knew its secret location. The city was never entirely empty. Nomadic families continued to use the grand tombs and caves as shelters, but its presence was scrubbed from the maps of Europe. It was a spectacular example of a powerful metropolis completely vanishing from global knowledge. The myth was finally broken in 1812 by a remarkable Swiss explorer, Johann Ludwig Burckhardt. Burckhardt was an Orientalist, a scholar who dedicated his life to studying the Arab world. He disguised himself meticulously as an Arab scholar, taking the name Sheikh Ibrahim, learning the language and customs to perfection. His goal was simple: to find the lost city. He eventually convinced local guides to lead him to a lost shrine, claiming he needed to sacrifice a goat there. Reluctantly, they led him to the hidden entrance. As he emerged from the dark, tight confines of the Sikh and laid eyes on the stunning, untouched facade of Al-Khazna, the truth was revealed. He had found the legendary city of Petra. Burckhardt recorded his findings in meticulous detail, ensuring the city's secret would be lost no more. Today, Petra is a World Heritage Site, a profound testament to the power of human ingenuity and adaptation. The legacy of the Nabateans is not found in massive empires, but in the unique wisdom they imprinted on the stone. They remain the masters of their specific environment, turning scarcity into civilization. Let us trace our final steps back through the Sikh. The light is changing, shifting from sunset purple to deep moonlit shadow. The canyon walls close around you again, silent now, but heavy with history. The laughter of the Roman merchant, the whisper of the Nabatean water engineer, and the smell of spices are all carried away on the desert wind. Petra, the desert gateway, is a powerful reminder that true prosperity is often rooted in the ability to understand and harmonize with one's environment. It is a spectacular monument to the power of commerce and adaptation, a civilization built from a mountain only to be reclaimed by the silence of the sand. We leave the great structures to their eternal watch, the Sikh to its vigil, and the memory of the Nabateans to their lasting honor. Thank you for listening. Until our next journey into the past, I wish you a calm and restful night.